Local mom killed by heroin put in her cereal.
Man found guilty of her murder, her husband, Jason Harris, who is going to be sentenced tomorrow morning. It took years for police to investigate and charge Harris.
What drives a man to murder the mother of his newborn by lacing her food with heroin? How does a seemingly loving husband transform into a cold-blooded killer, using an innocent bowl of cereal as a weapon? What initially seemed like a tragic accident turned out to be a cold-blooded plot, exposing a sinister plan fueled by greed and infidelity. This is a tragic story of Christina Ann Thompson Harris, a 36-year-old mother of two from Davison, Michigan, whose life was cruelly cut short by the very person who vowed to love and protect her. Her last meal was a bowl of cereal fixed by her husband Jason. Little did she know that unsuspecting breakfast would be her last. But beneath the surface of this heartbreaking loss was a chilling and sinister truth. Jason Harris, 49 years old, Christina's husband, appeared to be a devoted father and loving partner. However, behind closed doors, he harbored dark thoughts and motives driven by greed and infidelity. Just weeks after Christina gave birth to their second child, Jason set a deadly plan into motion, poisoning her food with heroin, believing it to be tasteless and odorless. On September 29, 2014, just another ordinary Monday morning, Christina Ann Thompson Harris's neighbor became alarmed. The 36-year-old mother of two hadn't responded to knocks or calls. Upon entering the Harris home in Davison, Michigan, the neighbor made a chilling discovery. Christina lay unconscious in her bed, foam spilling from her mouth. Paramedics arrived too late. Christina's life had tragically ended, yet this morning posed more questions than answers. Jason Thomas Harris, Christina's husband, recounted that she had been battling a cold the night before. He claimed he last saw her eating cereal he had made for her before bed. According to Jason, Christina must have collapsed during the night, the cereal bowl dropping from her hands. He attributed her condition to severe illness when he left for work that day. However, the autopsy results revealed a starkly different story. Shockingly, the medical examiner attributed Christina's death to an accidental heroin overdose. For those who knew her intimately, this verdict defied belief. Christina, a vibrant mother devoted to her health and her children, meticulously watched her diet, especially while breastfeeding her baby daughter. Her tragic end by a lethal drug like heroin seemed inconceivable. She was vigilant about what she consumed, insisted Christina's devastated mother, Kathy May. Initially, Jason Harris mirrored these sentiments during his interviews with law enforcement. So how did Christina's life come to a tragic halt due to such a destructive and illegal substance? Her family and friends were baffled. There were discrepancies. Moreover, just a day before her untimely death, Christina spent a joyful day with her mother, appearing perfectly healthy as they cherished the new baby together. There were no signs of illness, no hint that her life was in jeopardy. As testimonies poured in from friends and family affirming Christina's aversion to drugs, Jason Harris's accounts of her final hours began to reveal unsettling inconsistencies and contradictions. With each retelling, he painted different pictures, from a woman battling a cold to one struggling with postpartum depression or marital woes. He even hinted at darker thoughts. One neighbor recalled his chilling remark, "She's not the angel her parents believe." As Kathy May grappled with Jason's credibility crumbling before her eyes, a sinking suspicion took hold. Could her son-in-law of over a decade be responsible for her daughter's sudden and unfathomable death? And if so, how could she ever prove it? The haunting cry of a grieving mother persisted. What really happened to my Christina? From the moment the accidental overdose ruling was issued, Christina's family harbored a deep fear that the truth was being concealed. Kathy May and her sisters, Katrina Sharon and Patricia Hutchinson, were determined from the outset to tirelessly pursue justice regardless of the challenges. A healthy 36-year-old not waking up should have raised serious concerns from the beginning, but it didn't, so we had to fight, Patricia asserted firmly. The bereaved family had profound concerns about how the crime scene at Christina's home was handled. After Christina's body was removed, Jason Harris regained control of the house, potentially compromising critical evidence. The moment my sister's body was taken out, Jason had free rein and the officer left when she did, Katrina recounted with dismay, lamenting the investigative oversight. The sisters insisted that investigators test Christina's frozen breast milk to prove she was drug-free. Shockingly, their requests were disregarded for over 48 crucial hours. They had crucial evidence at their fingertips that they ignored in the first 48 hours, Katrina said, her disbelief still palpable. Years later, after enduring over 6 agonizing years with the Davison Police Department stubbornly sticking to the accidental overdose theory, Christina's family took action. They conducted their own relentless investigation, reaching out to Jason Harris's former acquaintances and co-workers for any clues. The police didn't know where he got the heroin, Katrina recalled, so I delved into this world of drugs, unfamiliar territory for me. Their findings about Jason's behavior before Christina's death heightened suspicions. They uncovered rumors of multiple affairs, murky financial dealings, and disturbing statements about wanting to eliminate his wife to avoid divorce and child support payments. In 2016, driven by determination, Kathy and her daughters convinced the Michigan State Police to launch a fresh investigation. It was a hopeful breakthrough after years of obstacles. The pivotal moment came when investigators finally agreed to analyze Christina's preserved breast milk. This unprecedented step in Michigan's legal history revealed no traces of illicit substances, validating what Christina's family had steadfastly maintained. This crucial evidence dismantled the accidental overdose theory and forced law enforcement to consider a darker possibility: premeditated murder by a spouse. After nearly 7 long years of tirelessly advocating for justice, Christina's family's perseverance was finally paying off. With the tide turning in their favor, investigators began unraveling Jason Harris's web of deceit surrounding his wife's tragic death. His conflicting statements to police, neighbors, and colleagues painted a disturbing picture, from bizarre claims of Christina choking on cereal to suggestions of postpartum illness and depression. As the layers were peeled back, it became evident that Harris harbored a deep-seated desire to eliminate his wife, to evade divorce settlements and financial obligations. Multiple witnesses came forward detailing Harris's attempts to solicit assistance in drugging or killing Christina, dangling large sums from a life insurance policy as enticement. Disturbingly, records revealed previous efforts by Harris to sedate Christina covertly on 2 occasions before her death, thwarted only by her vigilance. Financial strain and infidelity emerged as significant motives, with thousands of incriminating texts between Harris and a mistress surfacing just months before Christina's murder. The callousness of Harris's actions became even more apparent when, just 9 days after his wife's death, he cashed in an airline ticket to visit his extramarital partner. In the aftermath of Christina's tragic passing, Harris wasted no time attempting to reintegrate his mistress and her child into the very home where his wife's lifeless body had been found. His immediate inquiries about accessing Christina's substantial life insurance policy underscored his cold calculation and disregard for the gravity of his crime. As the investigation deepened, a chilling pattern of selfishness and betrayal emerged, a portrait of a man determined to maintain his lifestyle at any cost, even resorting to the heinous act of spiking his wife's nightly cereal with a lethal dose of undetectable heroin. This callous act masked his true motives of greed and deceit, portraying Christina's death as a tragic accident while shielding himself from accountability for his actions. The cover-up began to unravel when toxicology experts confirmed that the only plausible route for the heroin found in Christina's system was through her final meal, prepared by her own husband. This revelation brought cathartic vindication to her grieving family, who had endured years of anguish, wondering how their beloved daughter and sister had met such a tragic end at the hands of the man sworn to protect her. Armed with a mountain of incriminating evidence, from the damning breast milk analysis to Jason Harris's contradictory statements and testimonies detailing his extramarital affairs and financial troubles, prosecutors prepared to bring Harris to trial for the premeditated murder of Christina. In the courtroom, a chilling portrait emerged of a husband willing to sacrifice his wife for personal gain, driven by greed and a desire for a new life without consequences. Throughout the trial, Harris's defense team struggled to undermine the meticulously gathered evidence. Expert testimonies, particularly those explaining how the heroin entered Christina's system orally rather than through traditional drug use methods, left little doubt in the jury's mind. The unprecedented use of Christina's breast milk as evidence underscored the heinous nature of Harris's crime and reinforced the prosecution's case. After weeks of compelling testimony, the jury swiftly delivered a verdict on November 17, 2021, finding Harris guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, solicitation of murder, and delivering a controlled substance causing death. His stoic demeanor as the verdict was read belied the gravity of his crimes. The judge handed down a life sentence without parole, a fitting punishment for Harris's cold-blooded actions. For Christina's family, the conviction marked the end of a painful chapter filled with courtroom battles and unimaginable grief. Patricia, Christina's sister, struggled to comprehend the closure after years of fighting for justice. Despite their profound loss, the conviction provided solace and a measure of peace, knowing that Harris would spend his life behind bars. No one can lessen the profound loss Christina's family endures. How did Jason Harris conceal his sinister motives behind a facade of marital normalcy? What compelled him to betray the ultimate trust in such a horrific manner? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button. Until next time.